What's stopping you from becoming successful?
So you're hot, right? When it comes to this particular thing, everybody calls on you.
What's stopping you from becoming successful? What's stopping you from becoming successful? Coming.
All she wanted to do was left
One home first thing you do, turn the television. And so if that's all we're seeing on the media, that's what's portrayed as
You
hot.
will face adversity, but you have to ask yourself, will you fight back? Failure is required. Success is optional. How bad do you want to succeed?
What's up? Listen, it's your boy Torian Salary, the Master Motivator. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another week of Success is Optional. Listen, that's the motto, that's the theme, that's the slogan. If you ain't with it, you got to catch up. Success is optional. What that means is, listen, you have a choice to succeed. Failure is required. You don't choose whether or not you fail. You will fail at some point at something in life. But the good news is, baby, success is optional. You have the choice to bounce back from that failure or to lay down and roll around in it. Hey, listen, man, having a great week. Listen, beautiful time here in Valdosta, Georgia. As you guys can see behind me, listen, I don't got a whole lot of time. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do have 3 quick points that I got to give you, all right? Y'all need to make sure you get this. 3 points you got to get, and then I'm going to leave you alone. Listen, man, I call these things the 3 Re's, if you will, all right? Don't miss this. The 3 Re's of success, and I don't want y'all to miss this. The first re that you have to get, the first thing you got to get is, listen, reject, all right? Listen to me now, reject. What should you reject? All of the negativity that people will throw your way, all of the negative behavior, the comments, the shade, all of the hatred, every single thing that these people will throw your way, you've got to learn how to reject it. All right, listen, that is extremely important. First and foremost, you've got to reject. By rejecting, listen to me, by rejecting that negative behavior. What that is negative behavior is nothing more, negative comments, negative shade. All that is really is just extra weight added on you that you don't need. Listen, life is already tough as it is. Life can already get you down as it is. The last thing you need is to have some extra unneeded, unnecessary weight. Listen, baby, reject that negative comment, that hatred. Reject all the little side shade comments that people throw your way, because that ain't doing nothing but extra weight, adding extra weight onto you. All right, you got to learn how to reject that negative comment. Listen, you'll be able to fly high. You'll be able to soar. You'll be able to do all these amazing things that will get you closer to your dreams if you just reject them. All right, so let me give you the story real quickly. Let me give you the story. So there was this guy back in the day named Benoit Lecomte. All right, I don't want y'all to miss this. Google it, Benoit Lecomte. And what he did is he actually swam. He was the first one to swim across the Atlantic Ocean. All right, now he swam from Massachusetts all the way to France. And I want y'all to listen, now let me paint this picture. Get this visual. He swam from Massachusetts all the way to France, okay? And it was a total of distance of, I believe it was about 3,716 miles. First one to swim across it, okay? Now listen, don't miss this. It took about 72 days. So to put this into perspective, to show you exactly how long that is about the distance of swimming from Atlanta, Georgia, up to New York City, back to Atlanta, Georgia, and then back to New York City. So listen, my man swam over almost 4,000 miles, right? And it took nearly 3 months. And the reason he did it was to fund research. He wanted to find some research for his father who had cancer, okay? So listen to me, as we paint this picture of Benoit, who swam across the Atlantic Ocean, the first one to do it, you can just imagine the hate that he experienced. You can just imagine the negative comments that people told him that, hey, you won't make it. It's too long of a swim, give it up. There's sharks out there. There's all kinds of sea creatures that you might, fall victim to. What are you thinking? It's going to take you 3 months. It's going to take almost 4,000 miles. So just imagine all of the side comments that he had to endure. But listen, let me tell you a little bit more about Benoit. As he did this for his late father who had cancer, Benoit had a why. That was his why. That was his passion. And no matter what kind of comments people made, no matter what people said to him, the why that he had in his heart was he wanted to do it for his father. Listen to me. Listen to me. That's a whole nother video. But what I want to ask you is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do every single day? Why do you get up and go to work, get up and go to school? Why do you get out there and change and touch people's lives? What is your reason for doing it, right? So Benoit had a reason, and that reason was his father. He wanted to find the cure for cancer for his father. So he swam across the Atlantic. It took him about 72 days, and they had this electromagnetic field that spanned about 25 feet around him to, you know, kind of ward off the sharks and any other kind of creatures. Listen, a great white shark, I don't want y'all to miss this, a great white shark followed him for 5 days as he swam. Are y'all catching this? So even in the midst of being in the ocean, you know, broad daylight or in the middle of the night, even in the midst of being in the ocean for 5 days straight, he had a great white shark to follow him. Even though that's the time, or that's the point that many of us would have threw in the towel and would have given up and said, I can't do it. This is too scary. It's taking too long. It's too hard. I just can't handle it no more. Even in the midst of that adversity, Benoit continued to swim, and he continued to swim because he had a why. He had a passion. He wanted to do it for his father, right? And so all of the people that said give up, it's day 3, it's day 4, listen, it's week 5, listen, give it up, it's too much to endure. Even after all of the negative comments, Benoit had to reject them. Are y'all catching what I'm saying? You have to learn how to reject those negative comments. All right, real quickly, let me give you the second one. The second point says, listen, recall past victories. What does that mean? Listen, relive, replay in your mind all of the successful and triumphant moments that you have experienced in your life. Listen, we've had some bad days, we get it. We have some things that just don't go our way. We've had some moments where we just want to throw in the towel and give up. I challenge you to recall those past victories. Listen, there was an old gospel song that said, as long as the good days outweigh the bad days, I won't complain. So in other words, if we can learn to recall past victories, if we can learn to relive in those moments where we've experienced success, where we've experienced triumphant moments, where we've had the victory, if we can just channel back to that day where we've had a successful day, then going through some rough times doesn't seem as bad. Going through some difficult times won't last. Going through some hurdles in your life won't seem to be as bad, because we can relive those days, those moments, those opportunities where we've had success. All right, y'all know how this goes. Let me real quickly, let me give you this story when it relates to, or as it relates to, recalling past victories. All right, so y'all know my man, George Foreman, right? George Foreman, we hear the name George Foreman, the first thing we think of is the grill, right? He was credited for making the George Foreman grill. We all got one in the house. We all do burgers and hot dogs on it, right? Let me tell you a little bit more information about this 2-time heavyweight Olympic boxing champion, all right? George Foreman had gotten up in age, right? He walked away from the sport of boxing. He was saying, I'm too old, I can't do it anymore, right? And so at the tender age of 49 years old, don't miss this. Ooh, don't miss this. At the tender age of 49, he said, I need to get back in the ring, right? There's some things that I'm not done yet. I just can't walk away from it. Why? That's his why. That was his passion. That's what he loved to do every single day of his life. So even at the age of 49 years old, he got back in the ring, and he fought some guy who even knows what his name was, right? It doesn't even matter. At 49 years old, he got in the ring and started swinging with this boxer, right? And everyone was saying, listen, give up. You're too old. Stick to making grills. Do something else with your life. You're almost 50. Listen, you're half of a century years old. What are you thinking getting in the ring with these young boys, thinking that you can knock one of them out, right? So he had the first point, right? He had to learn how to reject. But as he recalled past victories, as he went into thinking about all the successful moments he had in his life, as he started reliving those moments that he was in the Olympics and where he was knocking people out in the first round, as he had to recall all those times where he was crowned the champion of the world, the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. Are y'all listening? The time that he was crowned the 2-time Olympic boxing champion. We're talking about George Foreman. He had to recall those moments. And so it was about the 7th round of that fight. And he came out of the corner. And as he was in that corner, he was recalling all of this, right? And so when he came back in the ring, the first couple of seconds of the 7th round, he knocked the guy out and the world was shocked. The world said, this man is 49 and a half years old. They say, listen, this man is he's pushing 50 years old and he's knocking out some young guys in the ring. And when they asked him in the post-fight, right, the post-fight interview, they asked him, hey, George, how in the world was you able to knock out someone probably half your age? What he said was, I had to think about it. George said, listen, I'm a champion. That's what I do. I'm a 2-time Olympic boxing champion. What he said was, I just thought about all the other moments of my life where I've been down and out before, and I came back late in the 7th round. Listen to me, because I'm talking directly to you. All those moments in your life that you've been down before, all those times that you didn't do so great on those tests, all those times where your family might have given up on you, all those moments in life that just seem to just be impossible to bounce back from. Like George said, listen, I've been here before. I've been down and out before. I'm gonna channel that same energy. Whatever it took then to overcome that obstacle is the same thing I'm gonna do right now. Why? Because this is what I do. I'm a boxer. I'm a fighter. I'm an overcomer. I overcome obstacles. And so I'm here to tell somebody right now watching this on YouTube, somebody right now sitting in their living room, somebody right now that's going through some trouble, some pain, some heartache, whoever you are, whatever you're going through, I'm here to tell you, listen, if you could just relive, if you could just recall those moments in your life where you were successful, if you could just channel that same energy of what it took to overcome whatever obstacle then, I guarantee you'll overcome that same obstacle today. Listen, I don't want y'all to miss it. The first point real quickly, reject negative comments, right? The second one was recall past victories, all right? And listen, as I wrap it up, let me give you the last one, my favorite one, all right? The last one says rely. All right, who should you rely on? Rely on yourself. Why is relying on yourself so important? Because listen, yourself is what got you to this point in your life. Okay? You might not have the biggest house in your hometown. You might not have the most money in the bank. You might not have the most degrees out of your family. But what you do have is yourself. And yourself got you to the successful point that you are in your life. Listen, even if you can't think of nothing that you've done positive, listen to me, don't miss this. Even if you can't think of nothing that you've done that has been truly successful, let me give you one, all right? You're living, you're breathing, you're able to watch this video, you're able to hear this video. For me, I don't know about y'all, for me, that's all I need. That's enough. That's enough motivation. That's enough passion for me to say, I made it to this point. Sure, I made dumb mistakes in the past. Sure, I could have done some things differently. Sure, I could have chosen different routes to take. But whatever I did, it was a setup to get me right here. And while I have the opportunity right now, I'm gonna rely on who I am, because who I am that got me from point A to point B is the same one that's gonna get me from point B to point Z. All right, I don't want y'all to miss this. First thing I need y'all to do, is reject. Second thing I need you to do is recall. Last thing I need you to do is rely. Let me give you this last story and I'm done, man. I'm getting tired, all right? Last story I got for you when it comes to relying on who you are. Let me give you a favorite. Y'all know who he is, Michael Jordan, right? And everybody thinks of Michael Jordan as one of the greatest NBA players. We credit Michael Jordan to overcoming being cut from his high school basketball team to now everyone having a pair of Jordans on, right? I don't want y'all to miss this one. Michael Jordan played against the Utah Jazz in an NBA Finals game. Y'all remember the story, right? And he had the flu, right? As a matter of fact, the headlines of the paper says, Jordan battles the flu and makes the Jazz sick. Did y'all catch that? Jordan battles the flu, but he made the Jazz sick. Let me tell you what happened, right? He came into the locker room, right? Y'all remember Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, all the folks that was with him. He came into the locker room. You could just tell instantly he was just done. His skin was flushed. He was drained. He was tired. He couldn't even move. He can barely walk in the locker room, right? Scottie Pippen. Even Scottie Pippen was quoted saying he just didn't even look like Michael Jordan. He looked like someone completely different. Y'all read the news, y'all saw the stories, right? So as he came into the locker room, everyone, his trainer, his coach, Phil Jackson, his teammates, everyone said, Jordan, this is just not your day. Jordan, just listen, hold off, we'll pull around, we'll rally together, we'll get the victory for you, right? Everyone said, listen, you need to just take a seat, relax, right? You don't need to play in your condition. So what did Michael Jordan do as the first point, right? Remember this, he rejected all of those negative comments, right? The second thing he did was he had to recall previous victorious moments. Then watch this one. He had to rely on who he was. Jordan is one of the greatest that ever picked up a ball. He knew that, and the world knew that. So what did he do? He ran to the next locker room over. All right, don't miss this. He went to an adjacent locker room. He isolated himself up. Another lesson we can do. Listen to me, don't miss this. Sometimes isolation is the best thing for you. Get away from all the negative comments. Find you a quiet place and just sit there and meditate, pray, think about it, whatever you need to do. Sometimes you gotta isolate yourself, right? So Jordan went to the other locker room, sat down, and he had to think about it. He had recalled all those moments, right? And as he started to doubt himself, he said, hold on. He said, I'm Jordan. Everybody came to see me. I'm Michael Jordan. Everybody wants to be like Mike, right? All the kids in the neighborhoods, you know, when they dunk, they had their tongue out. Everybody wants to rock the Jordans. Everybody knows who I am. Who am I to just say I'm not gonna go out there and be who I am? So Jordan relied on who he was, right? And despite the hating comments, despite the negative comments, despite the comments that said, Jordan, please just take it easy, you don't need to play, Jordan said, I gotta rely on who I am. Why? Because I'm Jordan. Then I got a whole world that counts on me to come out here and put on a show. So Jordan, long story short, went into the game, started balling. Y'all know the rest of the story. It's history, right? He came out, had all kind of points, played the entire game just about, and the team was victorious. All because he relied on who he was, all right? So listen, as I close, I don't want y'all to miss this. Don't miss this. In your struggles, in your life, whatever you go through, 3 things you gotta do to be successful. First thing is you've got to reject negativity. Second thing is you gotta recall past victories. And the third thing, listen, rely on who you are, all right? Make sure y'all listen. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, comment on it, let me know what y'all want to talk about next week. Let the world know, listen, let's make this thing go viral. The whole world needs to understand that they can be successful if they implement these 3 points. It's your boy Torian, the Master Motivator, and I'm out.